Hello, I am going to speak about testing right now. It's a really critical part of our practice at learning clubs. And I am the diagnostician, the person who is the gatekeeper. Every child gets to meet me, and every parent gets to meet me as well. It's a really critical part of our intake process. We work with students from 5 years old up to 18, 19, a little bit beyond. And it's part of our process of getting to know the person, really listening to what the child is saying, being able to sit across from them online and see how they are processing the information, looking at facial, posture, all of those things, how eager they are to be with us. The testing in itself provides us with a roadmap. We look at those results and look at them and frame them within the context of how old the child is. Now, what I've seen over the years, and that's 20 plus years, is that regardless of where the school sees the child or how they see themselves, if they are struggling and they are below average, or if they are average or starting to tilt over to above average, what I know is the processes that we use will move them beyond where they were, from one category to another. And, even in saying that, I'm pretty hesitant about the category side. What we're looking at is a continuum of learning and the pace at which the child learns. Some of the things that we do a bit differently is that we really are looking at processing. What is the best way in which they process the information? For students who are, at the end of year 3 up into perhaps mid-year 8, what I am looking at is whether or not they're using verbal reasoning, verbal processes to best learn. And what that means is 2 different things, is looking at how well they listen and understand the information and how well they read and understand the information. So we're talking about 2 different modalities, visual and auditory, and whether or not they work well together. For some students, maybe you might even find this for yourself. If you're reading something and someone is also reading out loud, that it clashes. And for some students, that's very true. They want to be left alone to read the information. Others, they want to hear the information and they'll read along. For those students who are really visual learners, they will best learn by being shown how to do something and where the verbal is reduced or eliminated. 2 different kinds. Now, because we have different modalities, what I'm looking at is a nice mesh of those modalities, or whether or not one is stronger than the other, and we need to reduce the others. So the testing, as I mentioned, is a roadmap. A couple of things that we really recognize here is they don't always tell us information about how the child learns and the pace at which they learn. So now I'm talking about methodology. I like to look at every child as being unique. And what I'm trying to find here is the best way in which they learn. Now, specialist tutors, like ourselves, what we're looking for is seeing this process at the beginning a bit experimental. That's pretty exciting. So we're wanting to find the methodology which the child feels comfortable with and they use really well. So that might take a bit of time looking at what that is. Of course, in a school, they can't afford the time to be able to do that. And maybe their experience in drilling down in different methodology may not be that practiced. The other thing is setting the pace. So within a curriculum school, it has a time and place. You begin at the beginning of the year for this curriculum, and then you have to complete the curriculum by that period of time. We don't have to do that. What we do is let the child set the pace, what they feel most comfortable with, that they can relax into and feel not judged. What I have seen over the years is once they're given the ropes, control over pace, that as they learn and we see the time that's needed for them to process and recall the information successfully and hit a mastery level, and we move to a different concept, that they will start building up the pace of learning themselves. And the tutor follows that. So pace of learning. Also, the methodology. That's what we do. We start off with that. We have the roadmap, and now we can see whether or not the methodology that we've chosen is working for the child over time. And everyone's having fun. The child's learning, their self-confidence soars, and it makes us feel good too. It's really wonderful team work. Thanks very much.